Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Ghost Rider issue number 4. There's a big shakeup in this issue, and I just really hope that it doesn't have a failure to launch. Anyway, let's talk about who makes the comic book, then we'll talk about the comic book itself. All right, so Ed Brisson is the writer, Aaron Cooter and Juan Frigeri on art, Jason Keith doing the colors, VC's Joe Caramagna on letters. The cover art is by Aaron Cooter and Dean White, and Cooter also does the variant cover. So there's a lot of Cooter in this book. Anyway, there is a huge shakeup with Danny Ketch in this. He has to go to Limbo. Now, Limbo, just really quick for anybody who doesn't know or wasn't totally sure, Limbo is this gigantic dimension of time that is ruled by Kang the Conqueror. But there is a smaller version, a pocket dimension of Limbo that is a part of, it's like a subsect of Greater Limbo, and this is currently ruled by Belasco. It is ruled by Nim, by Nastrich, by Ilyana Rasputin, Magic from the New Mutants herself. And this also deals with time. There's these pockets, these little teleportation discs that just kind of appear all over the place, that the mutant power master of these discs is actually Ilyana. Anyway, interesting. I love it when you pull Limbo into a story if it's done right. This was done quickly, so I wouldn't say it was done wrong. There wasn't enough here to know was this done right or not. It was just done, okay? But Danny Ketch has to go before Belasco, who is currently in charge of Limbo, the pocket dimension. And there's a huge status change to the character. First, we have to get through him getting beaten up. This almost looked like a Marvel Max book. Like, he gets beaten so freaking bad that we almost had to change this is for, instead of being for teens, no, this is for straight up adults, because like Danny Ketch gets jacked up and this ear hanging off, giant freaking maces to the face. Looked like Hawkman came out of nowhere and just beat the crap out of him. Like, dude, this was wicked. He tried to do that superhero line, after I'm finished with this guy, I'm coming after you, Belasco. You don't have your powers, dude. You straight, whatever they wanted to do to you was going to happen. No doesn't mean anything for you at this point, man. Wow. This was rough. But there's a huge status quo. Now, I love the art in this book. You know this is a lead-up coming in, right? In fact, let's actually show you some of the art in this book. Some of the stuff in here might actually be spoilerific, because we see Wong and Ghost Rider teaming up, and then, as is typical for a Marvel comic book, we see one hero turn against the other hero, and then they're going to get into a fist fight because they can't, it's like, here's a blast. Okay, now let's try to talk this out with words. No, that's not actually the way that this works. It's not the way this works, sorry. This is freaking wicked, man. You do see Johnny Blaze in this a lot. Johnny Blaze actually winds up taking a super-powered character that he shouldn't have the powers to be able to, do what he does to this character. But he does anyway. Also, Wong has to get the pen and stare. What happens when Wong gets the pen and stare? Is it the same thing that happens to everybody else? Or is it something entirely different? We don't know. I don't want to build that up too much. It's a lot more of the former than the latter. Anyway, got bedhead over here. The thing is, just really quick with Johnny Blaze. Right away, I think all of us are going to look at this and say, there's no way he's powerful enough to do this. Like, the reason why he got the powers is because of this character. He just straight, like, dog walks this character, pretty much literally. You know what I'm saying? It's important to remember what Brisson's doing with this comic book. What you read is not necessarily what you read. He's messing with us in a major way. All these things are happening around Johnny Blaze. Anytime you see Johnny Blaze on the pages of this comic book, if it's a panel that has Johnny Blaze in it, you can't trust what you see. You can love the art. It's wow, fantastic. It's amazing. But there's just something about it where you know that what you're seeing is not necessarily what everybody else is seeing. Johnny Blaze and everybody else, Johnny Blaze is doing things, and Danny Ketch and everybody around him is not seeing the same thing that Johnny is seeing. And this is troublesome, right? Because everybody thinks that Johnny's crazy. Everybody keeps on saying Johnny's crazy. Everybody's pointing out, dude, you've lost it. But we're seeing what Johnny is seeing. So it looks like he's just killing demons. Maybe these are regular people. Who knows? We're hearing what he's hearing, right? It's wild. So Has he truly lost his mind, or is he the only sane one in the entire book? It's hard to read, it's hard to find a comic book that does it the way that Brisson does it in this story, man. All 4 of these issues, off the hook. Plus there's an annual, which came out really early. But yeah, freaking fantastic work. Now, huge status quo change to Danny Ketch. Is this going to work? Honestly, I don't know. And I'm hoping that the next issue isn't make or break, but it seems like it will be. Gigantic status change to him. There's a new spirit imbuing him. So if you're one of those key collectors, we just had the first appearance of this other character. Here's the first appearance of, well, cameo appearance at least, of Danny Ketch as this new character. Next issue is going to be pretty key also. Is this going to work? This is the realm of speculators right here. This is what speculators deal with. It could either really pay off or not, but it's going to cost you $3.99 US to find out. Like, that's the way that it works. And do you want to invest in a variant cover or not? Excuse me, I don't know how this is going to work, but this is a status quo change. Now, it's really going to be up to Brisson for the most part if this works or not. But who else this is going to work out with is Aaron Kuder. Okay, I did mention his art is freaking fantastic. Let's take it a step further. The art is so good in this that the colors, they pop. Like, I know he's not the one doing that, but what do you call it? The colors pop, looking at tendrils just interweaving with smoke and spirit, and it's wicked to see this. Backgrounds that are cool, but it's hard to even focus on those because you're too busy looking at what he's trying to show you. It's like everything in the background is pointing to the main thing that he wants you to read. Kuder has a way of doing, of creating art that's just, boom, it's amazing. It's amazing. We're living in good times to see Aaron Kuder doing this kind of work. I love that they got him to do this story. This is freaking beautiful. All that being said, I am not overly impressed with the status quo change to Danny Ketch. Now, this could turn around. This could work out. Brisson could write this amazing story, but we've got to get amazing action scenes and art alone, like the imagery alone of the new form of regalness, this corruption regalness that we're seeing with Danny Ketch now. Like I said, huge status quo. This could be the new version, all right? This could be like, I don't know. This could be like a new change to a character that lasts for ages. This could be one of those things that only lasts for a little while because the book's not going to do well and nobody cares and it's going to last for like a week. You know, so well, not a week, but you get the gist. It could go Galactus Lifebringer and work for like a year before it's like, let's make him purple again. All right? It's really going to depend on these two people, Brisson and Kuder. So that's a lot of weight on their shoulders for this. I honestly hope that this works. I genuinely do. Because as much as I love Danny Ketch as a regular Spirit of Vengeance, it gets kind of old. And you could tell it gets kind of old because we haven't seen the character in comics for a while. He shows up, people are like, yeah! And then it's like, okay, that was cool. Whatever. You know, nobody cares. I'm really hoping that this pans out. I'm really hoping that this works and we get a proper change. Having him like a regular old knight on a horse, just look at Dane Whitman to see how that just doesn't work. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work in comic books, man. I loves me some Black Knight, but let's be realistic. They kept on changing him up because as much as we love the character, it's hard. It's really hard, even with a good writer, to get a fantastic Dane Whitman story. Every single time, what happens? Oh, he's just not good enough because somebody else has to take his sword and do a kill, and he's just stuck with the curse. And it's like, there's such a tragic character there, and yet we just don't get the good stories with them, man. And they don't stick, they don't last, and it just doesn't mean anything for the most part. We need to do something freaking fantastic, and I believe that we're in good hands. I hope it works, and honestly, it's on a lot of us, if this does work, to get enough eyes on this comic book in order to make it succeed. Because if it's the greatest story in the history of comic books, you still got to have readership. So next issue is going to be the deal, the make or break, whether we like it or not, for this new version of Danny Ketch. Anyway, guys, that's really enough on the subject. I honestly hope that it works. I really do hope that it works because there's so many great characters in Marvel lore. And I've said it before, here it comes again. freaking Ed Brisson should be the mayor, the ruler, the king dong of all things involving Ghost Rider, because he really has this character down. That being said, this is, to me, this is the biggest Marvel task that Brisson has ever taken on. Yeah. I'm hoping for a no-choke moment in the next issue. Anyway, guys, we'll see. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.